Life and death are the great matter. All is impermanent and passes swiftly away. Time waits for no one. So during the monthly meditation week, many guests are joining, and the first 3 days I will not remember the names. After the third day, I slowly start to call the people by their names. How come? For some, this is very insulting and even very rude. But not only in the monastery, it's a very important rule not to waste other people's time. So it's very important to prove yourself, to prove yourself. That has nothing to do with your family or the monastery. Just prove yourself. But how can we prove ourselves? How can we find our original face? The more we have the original face, the more we can use all the different masks, all the different rules, because we understand our responsibility in any situation. If you are a teacher or a student, if you are a wife or a husband, if you are a father or a mother, if you are a friend, at any moment when you meet someone, you have a different mask, and you should clearly know which one it is. So you know your responsibility, and you know how to act, how to speak, how to listen. But for this, we have to see clearly our very own original face. Otherwise, we cannot use our responsibility proper. When I was young, I left my hometown and had a long journey into in very far distant countries, different cultures, because I wanted to prove myself. I was wrestling with the universe and wanted to see what I'm made of. And of course, when you leave your home and chasing a dragon, you learn more about the home you left than the new one. And when you enter the monastery, you have to kneel down on the very cold stone floor in front of the gate and asking for entrance only for some hours of sleep and some very simple meal times. You're allowed to move. And you have to wait again on your knees, your head on the floor. It's a very long week. And when you wait, you re-examine your very own resolution. Do I really want to do this? Am I ready to sacrifice my body and mind and learn from the monks and nuns, endless generations before me, from this impossible task? The novices had to bow down their head, and the greeting is very harsh. So the senior monks tell you that they do not have spare food or spare time, that you're just wasting their time. And the people who donate to the monastery, they want to only donate if the monks are serious. And you have to take a leap of faith. Because you don't know what you're signed for, but you're ready to engage with whatever you have. It's like a marriage. You don't know really what you're signed for. But you're ready to go full in. So this first week on the knees is a test for your determination. You have to prove yourself. But when you look back, life is always like that. Whatever task is given, you have to do very properly. So at the beginning of the monastery, I had to do many tasks that were very boring. And I knew I could do them better if they just would let me do it my own way. So this is one, when you grew up in Switzerland, you're trained to do it your own way. But in the monastery, that was a terrible thing. Nobody wanted to know about your own way. First, you had to learn the way of the monastery, of your seniors. And once you mastered every single task, you could work and slowly, very slowly, have your own way. There wasn't much talking. You were not allowed to ask questions, only to give a response and reply when you have been asked. Even after many years, you knew hardly any facts about the other person, where he's coming from, his siblings. When you live 24/7, you start to know each other very well, not by words, but by actions. Your monk brother, you start to understand. But for this, we had to look very closely to every detail. So each of your own word you had to prove yourself first. So your actions and your words were very aligned. It's like one force. And at the beginning, I couldn't speak and understand Japanese or Korean very properly. So one time, a very old senior monk told me that that actually is an advantage, because I was focusing all the time on the actions, what was going on, trying not to miss any details, like a baby or a small child, checking out all the time what's going on, and try to learn the words and to put them in the right situation. Any detail could be very important. So to extract order out of the chaos is a very difficult task, because the words, the beginning, had no meaning. It was not allowed to speak any English, because all my monk brothers, they wanted to improve their English skills. But the abbot of the monastery forbid everyone to speak English, because I had to learn Japanese as fast as possible. The abbot of the monastery was very tough, especially to me as a foreigner, and he pushed me 24/7 to learn as fast as possible. He was a very smart guy. Even it was very tough, he was very helpful. So I had to squeeze my body and my mind all the time until exhaustion. And when the new novices entered the monastery, I became a senior. And I had to learn how to act as a senior. That was even more difficult because I had more responsibility. It's like when you become a father, you have to learn as fast as possible because there's not much space to make mistakes. But even if you do not know how to act properly in this role, we have to squeeze our body and mind. And to focus on any detail. And with time, we start to see, and slowly, very slowly, make order out of chaos. And nobody can do it for you. Nobody could do it for me in the monastery, or now. And often I was told that it's not possible for a guy like me. It's too difficult. And I can leave any time. I already proved myself. But of course, you have to decide this by yourself. And actually, slowly, I started to see that all the monk brothers are very proud of what I was doing, but hardly showing it. That's why the stick of encouragement in the meditation hall slashes down hundreds years and empowers yourself to show what you're made of. My young boys Now they're fighting a lot. And from morning to evening, they have a competition. Who's first in brushing their teeth? Who's first in whatever? And they really get mad when they lose. And I losing a lot. And sometimes we lose, and sometimes we win. But when you see and have a look, a very close look, what they're doing, they always want to find out where they belong to. And even if they lose or win, that's actually how they learn compassion. They never go for the kill. The competition helps them to prove themselves. Because everyone has to give their best to be the first. So that's how they prove themselves. Sometimes they lose, sometimes they win. And even these very small kids, they do not like pity. They like a good winner and a good loser. And the older they get, the more compassionate they become, because they push themselves to become more. So sometimes in the monastery, long, long ago, I wanted to play my foreigner card, the card of pity, but it never worked. They didn't let that happen because they had a long-term goal in mind. And my seniors, they were responsible that I learned how to become a proper monk. That's why my students have to prove themselves as well, have to wait for a week on their knees. Even when it's cold and snowing, because it's a lifelong relationship. And to see if you really all in from that, actually love and respect starts, and trust. And then we are proud of our teachers and of our students. And then we can be proud of our children and of our parents and of our friends.